It's a pleasure for me to join you, albeit I'm not joining in person, but through a recording. Welcome to Growing Sales in a New Business Environment. Well, COVID, along with natural disasters associated with climate change and geopolitical conflict, have changed the world, and all the economies are facing uncertainties at this time. Whilst this is tragic, there is an opportunity, and I encourage all businesses, small, medium and large, to be proactive in embracing the opportunities and building for the future. There is one thing that I am absolutely clear about, and that is inaction is the riskiest response to the uncertainties that come with the great change that we're experiencing at this time. Now is the time to be entrepreneurial and to engage the entrepreneurial mindset, which means being alert to opportunities, being adventurous, bold, brave, courageous, creative, curious, decisive, determined, enthusiastic, energetic, fearless, being heroic, innovative, imaginative, opportunistic, open-minded to the opportunities that are coming our way, optimistic, being passionate, persistent, persuasive, preoccupied with finding new opportunities. Of course, we've heard the word many times, resilient, strong-willed, and strong in execution, and being tenacious despite adversity. It is important for every business seeking to survive and grow to have the business strategy very clearly set out in their minds and to be strong in execution. Strategy by itself is not enough. Success comes when the strategy is strongly executed. So this talk today is about one thing that every business strategy should have at its core, and that is, well, of course, growing sales. In today's business environment, a business strategy needs really to address three things. First of all, reduce the company cost base and spend only what is essential. Reduce the cash that's tied up in inventory, actively collect monies from customers, monies that are owed. Negotiating a holiday, for example, on paying rent and similar. The aim, of course, is to reduce the financial burden and secure a financial future for the business. The second thing is to take government support, and there's a lot of government support out there. Certainly in the UK, we've received tremendous amount of support in terms of loans, in terms of reliefs of various descriptions, and we hope to continue to receive support from the government. The third thing that's very important, and that is focus on aggressively growing sales, which should be given equal opportunity or equal priority to the other two. So what does this mean in practice? It means two things. First, protecting existing revenue. And second, generating new and additional revenue from your serviceable available market. So, protecting existing revenue. Protecting existing revenue really asks you to do a number of things. First, get close to your customer. Be customer oriented, more than you ever have been. Customer orientation or being customer centric is a culture and a core value that should be embraced by every business. And the key word here is customer, of course. And I'm reminded of a quotation whenever I talk about a customer, and it is this: a customer is the most important person ever in this office, in person or by email or telephone. A customer is not dependent on us. We are dependent on the customer. A customer is not an interruption of our work. The customer is the purpose of. We are not doing the customer a favor by serving the customer. The customer is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to actually do so. So customer orientation is vital concept, a key concept, specifically in selling. Without this, the business will find it difficult to succeed. The company must focus on the customer and organize itself to sense, serve, and satisfy the customer. The second thing to do in protecting existing revenue is to talk to customers more frequently than you have done before, particularly at the executive level. Understand their situation and the actions that they are taking to survive. Support the customer more than you ever have done. Go above and beyond. Thirdly, share what other customers are doing. This will give ideas of how to stay alive, how to grow, including moving online to sell products, which I will be focusing on today. The fourth thing to do in protecting existing revenue is make customer retention initiatives a priority. Customer retention initiatives become more valuable and are more valuable and will continue to be more valuable than ever. What does that involve? Helping customers to succeed, specifically in offering, for example, a helpline, posting daily email updates, hosting weekly webinars, holding customer meetings online, offering customers more generous financial terms. Of course, that's providing you have the financial strength to be able to do that. And also consider tactical changes in the way that you utilize the sales force, whether it's inside or field-based sales force. Switch them to have their sales meetings online. And importantly, provide incentives. The important thing to remember is that the cost of retaining customers is a lot less expensive than acquiring new customers. Indeed, research has shown in the case of business to business that the cost of acquiring new customers is somewhere in the region of 5 to 7 times more expensive than the cost of retaining a customer. So moving on to look at generating new, that is additional income. First thing to do is target recurring over transactional revenues where you can do this. Be creative in finding ways to create a recurring or a subscription revenue model. And this is all about providing continuous access to your product and service. And you'll know examples of this, the gymnasium, at publications such as the Harvard Business Review, which I subscribe to on a monthly basis. It includes recipe boxes. Here in the UK, we have HelloFresh, Gusto, Simply Cook, amongst many others. Music and films that you'll be familiar with. Netflix, Spotify, and even razors, like Harry's Razors or the Dollar Shave Club. This is what's describing the new business environment, where subscription-based revenue models are now coming into their own and growing. The second thing to do is reallocate marketing spend to bolster immediate revenue. Focus marketing on demand harvesting that is at the heart of inbound marketing. Change your product mix and pricing strategies. Consumer purchasing behavior changes dramatically and has changed dramatically in this new business environment. Consumers increasingly opt for lower priced alternatives to their usual purchases, often trading down to buy private or own supermarket label products or to shop at discount stores. Importantly, consider all revenue streams. I talked about subscription, but there are many other revenue streams that you should consider, that businesses should consider. Pay the traditional pay-per product or asset sale, usage fees, lending, renting, leasing, licensing, brokering, which means brokering deals in a way where you earn commission, and of course, advertising. Selling online is crucial, especially if you are a retailer and a manufacturer. Selling online is perhaps the single biggest revolution to change business in the 21st millennium. And here's a quote from the Microsoft founder, Bill Gates, who says, if your business is not on the internet, then your business will soon be out of business. Now, in these words, Bill Gates sums up the importance of having an online presence and engaging customers through e-commerce. The message that I want to leave is that if you have something to sell, whether this is products or services, and indeed public good causes in the case of social enterprises, and would like to get the largest possible number of buyers online, selling online is a very effective, fast, inexpensive, and safe strategy to adopt. So why sell online? I think you all will already have a view of why it is important to sell online. Undoubtedly, our lives are very hectic. For many of us, very hectic. We go about our daily lives and the things that we do, the chores that we take in a maddening frenzy very often. Consequently, most of us do not have the time and patience to go shopping at the traditional bricks and mortar stores. Shopping online saves us time and effort and often helps to save precious money. Now, reversing the situation, for the business that is looking to sell online, there are 6 reasons why the business should do so. Shoppers increasingly buy online. Now, according to Statista, this is the Hamburg-based online portal for industry statistics, in 2021, this year, 2.1 billion people worldwide are expected to buy goods and services online. That's up from 1.7 billion just 5 years ago. That's a significant rise. This trend is set to continue. And an answer to the question, why sell online? Secondly, shopping online saves time and effort, as I mentioned earlier. This is an irrefutable, incontrovertible fact. Selling online increases the seller's geographical reach and serviceable available market, and consequently creates more opportunities to grow sales. Sellers' costs are lower by selling online. Lower operating costs. Why? Because there are no infrastructure costs or greatly reduced infrastructure costs. Selling online also improves the seller's sales performance. Why? Because the market is larger and marketing is often very targeted. And finally, survive. This is why we sell online. We survive in times of economic uncertainty and downturn because we can continue to sell and at the same time, of course, reduce costs. So, a question I'm often asked, what are your options to sell online? Okay, let me answer that question. There are 8 options or strategies to sell online. And in reality, businesses which sell online should and very often do pursue multiple strategies. So what are they? The first one is, as I alluded to earlier, is sell via your website. Tens of millions of businesses do so and getting better at doing so. The website is the mainstay of selling online. The most important advantages of selling online, selling via your website, are first that you control your destiny. Second, there is no limit on the number of products that you can actually sell on your website, depending on the sophistication of your website, of course. And third, you get to set your terms and conditions. That's everything to do with pricing, delivery, guarantees, returns, importantly, safety, security, and so on. The second option that you have to sell online is to sell via your online store on one of the e-commerce platforms, such as BigCommerce, Etsy, Shopify, which I'm sure you're aware of. These e-commerce sites are the virtual malls, and the advantages are very clear. First, selling online on e-commerce platforms gives you instant access to a marketplace with millions of buyers. Secondly, you can target customers looking for something quite unique, something rare. And third, companies can set their own terms and conditions, which is important to do, particularly regarding returns and, importantly, payment methods as well. Third, the third option to sell online is sell via third-party online stores that you'll be familiar with. That includes Amazon, eBay, and in Africa as well, Namibia and South Africa, Tololi. There are multiple advantages to this strategy for selling online. First, you get instant access to millions of potential customers worldwide. Second, even if you don't make sales, your product gets free publicity, free advertising among millions of potential buyers. And one would hope that they become buyers in the future. And third, Amazon, eBay, and others also guarantee payment, which is, of course, very important. The fourth strategy of option to sell online is sell via a social networking platform like Facebook Marketplace, Instagram, amongst others. Now, selling on Facebook Marketplace, I draw attention to that because my family sells through Facebook Marketplace, so I'd mention them. It has many advantages. First, there are no fees, which is always highly desirable. And it should be noted that Facebook doesn't get involved between buyer and seller. Secondly, Facebook allows you to spread the word about the stuff that you are selling online very quickly. And you can get your friends to like your page, like what you're selling, and spread the word. And thirdly, you can post upcoming and new launches of products or services, whatever it might be, immediately. The fifth strategy, the fifth option to sell online is sell through affiliates, who are the sales agents, and businesses are increasingly selling through affiliates. Now, who are these affiliates? These are people and organizations. The people are those that sell your products via their own websites, and they typically include athletes, actors, bloggers, celebrities of various descriptions, established, well-known entrepreneurs, influencers, traders, amongst others. The sixth strategy is to sell via dropshipping websites. And they include Alibaba, Amazon, of course, they do dropship, eSources, 365, dropship, amongst others, depending where you are in the world and where you do business in the world. Dropshipping is a very simple way to sell online. This is when a business lists its products for sale on a dropshipping website. When the customer buys the product from that dropshipper's website, the dropshipper will place an order with the business, with the company, and all the business needs to do is then dispatch the product to the address of the customer. The seventh strategy is sell through mobile apps. And why wouldn't you sell through mobile apps when 60% of online purchases are actually made via a mobile app? So if you don't have a mobile app, do create a mobile app and sell your products and services through this strategy and by this strategy. There are several advantages of mobile apps when you sell online. Apps allow customers to make instant purchases without the need for a computer. They cost less than websites and online stores, and you can upgrade them very quickly. Also, apps allow you to make money by accepting third-party advertisements. But don't load your website with too many advertisements. You may decide not to advertise on your website. Okay, the final strategy is to sell via online classified websites. Now, classified ads have been in use for more than a century. And they trace their origins to the time when newspapers were becoming very popular across the world. In our times, classified ads are now also available online. And they offer some unique advantages. Firstly, they attract genuine buyers. Unlike some online stores and marketplaces, there are few virtual window shoppers. Secondly, classifieds ads, in most cases, are free. An advantage, of course. They also allow businesses to sell not just locally, but regionally and nationally, and some also have distribution internationally. Now, I don't have time to go through all these strategies in detail and share my experience. Instead, I'm going to focus on the first one, and that is selling via your websites. Details about the other strategies, both in terms of how each works, how to set each up, the advantages and disadvantages that I referred to, can be obtained directly from me. I'm often asked the question, what's important to do to get started and really leverage your website? For me, there are two things that are important. First, market your website to attract visitors, because those visitors will become customers. And second, to drive conversion. So I'm going to start with the first. Let's take a look at the ways of attracting visitors to the seller's website, to the business's website, to your website, and also to look at the conversion rate, how we can improve conversion rate. So let's start with the ways to attract more website visitors. I've got 20 that I'm just going to skip through fairly quickly. Create great content. This is pivotal for attracting visitors to the website. Such content includes, you'll be familiar with, articles, analyses, blogs, especially blogs, podcasts, reports, reviews, videos. These attract visitors in many different ways via referrals, shares, and of course, word of mouth. Insert a share button. When visitors land on your webpage and read your great article, your great blog, be sure to have or encourage them to share the article or blog. Don't assume that your readers will take the initiative to share the content. They won't. Instead, make it easy for them. Insert a share button. And share buttons help the seller increase its audience by connecting with people who are not on the seller's website, as well as, of course, distribute content across the multiple social media networks and platforms. Answer questions on social media sites. When you see people asking questions online, such as on LinkedIn, and I do this quite frequently, I answer those questions. And I try to be helpful, not to pitch my products or services, but to be helpful in providing useful information and helping to solve the problem. Doing so and adopting this approach builds the relationship and increases website traffic, and of course the leads that come from that. The fourth is distribute news releases. Traffic can be generated by news releases that report on business successes, particularly if you're launching new products or entering new markets. Post those news releases on your website and distribute them via social and traditional media. Optimize your website. You will all know about optimization, which really comes down to two things: great content, which are the articles, the blogs that I talked about, and backlinks, specifically and especially from credible third-party websites. Okay, continuing, the next 5. Run a business blog. I referred to it several times. By posting high-value blogs regularly, you'll build relationships with your readers who will check back frequently to view your latest blog, and in the process, they will tell others about your blog. Share your slides. Do you have slides on presentations that you've given in a public setting, whether at a conference or similar? Post your slides and other informative material as resources onto your website and other websites, of course, not to forget websites such as SlideShare or Scribed. But be sure to make the content informative and share your contact details. Publish an email newsletter. I regularly read newsletters from those that I have connected with. And this is a very powerful way of attracting visitors. So when visitors find valuable email newsletters, they tend to stick with these and share them with others. I have a number that I always recommend to my colleagues and those that I work with: the UK Business Angels Association newsletter, the National Centre for Universities and Business, and Tech Nation. Produce podcasts. Similarly, producing a high quality podcast will increase website visitors, whilst at the same time reaching out to new visitors through podcast directories such as Google Podcasts. The next way is to use infographics. Infographics are great. I like them because they help to simplify a very complicated subject on the one hand. On the other, they turn an otherwise boring subject into something that is captivating, compelling, and very persuasive. And these infographics are shared. The important thing to remember from researchers showed us is that they're shared more often than other types of content, which makes them absolutely ideal for traffic generation campaigns. Continuing, the next one is host a YouTube channel. I'm sure some of you will already have YouTube channels. A YouTube channel and regular posting of videos is a great way to expose new audiences to sellers' brand, and a link, of course, to the website. Set up a partner program. This is the affiliate programs that I referred to earlier. Invite visitors to sign up as partners or affiliates, and where they have the chance then to refer customers and in the process earn a commission on purchases. Write guest posts. I like to do this quite regularly. I like to do this for top industry websites. Now, here is an example of one such guest post. This is the one that I wrote and posted on the National Centre for Universities and Business website. I think it's relevant here, given that it presents the different ways in which you can actually create and a particular approach to creating a successful sales strategy. The next is build relationship with influencers. Having an authority figure in your industry share just one of your blogs can result in a tremendous number of new visitors, subscribers, and ultimately buyers. Follow and join new social networks, and there are lots of them. I'm sure that you'll know some that I don't know, but typically I would say pay attention to new ones like Flickr, like Reddit, Tumblr, amongst others. And of course, I'm sure you're familiar with TikTok. And the fact that TikTok in itself is one that's used by teenagers to create all sorts of interesting videos. It's a fantastic medium to advertise to teenagers, everything from fashion, sportswear to accessories. And my final 5, the ways to attract more website visitors. Keep your website error-free. If your website contains errors, it might not be picked up by the search engines, and so you might not receive the traffic that you should. Use Google Webmaster Tools. These provide lots of good data, diagnostics, and tools for making your website healthy and, importantly, Google friendly. add pillar content. The pillar content is really the best of your site's work, a best of the content that you've actually created, the best of your blogs, the best of your articles, the best of your reports. This is the content that you would refer any new visitor to for the first time. Over deliver in your service to customers. Over delivering is tantamount to an excellent customer service and cannot be beaten. Now, also, it's important to be able to interview experts within your industry. I'm sure you will know many of them in your industry. Well, I will say that visitors delight in hearing from celebrities, experts, influencers, those important people. So snag an interview, grab an interview with these experts and publish it on your website. I'm sure you will see traffic increase. And finally, comment on other website blogs. Leaving valuable comments on other website blogs is a great way to build that traffic, to build visitors to your own website. And be sure to actually comment, not just say a great post and sign off with an emoji. No, comment on the blog. And importantly, how that blog might be of help to you. So these are 20 ways to raise awareness and visibility of your website, increase traffic, specifically visitors to your website, and generate sales leads. What other ways do you think a company can build traffic to your website? I'll be interested to hear. Here are just a few more that I thought you would be interested to hear about. Include in your email signature, so a photograph of your landing page together with the link, of course, is important. Feature it in your profile LinkedIn, add to messages sent via your mobile phone. Promote your website by word of mouth. And here's some more. Attend, speak at physical and virtual conferences, run email campaigns, send direct mail. There are lots of ways. There's one in particular that I will highlight, and that is host frequent webinars. Now more than ever, webinars are an excellent way to promote products and services to potential customers. Combine that with a very effective social media promotion campaign. Webinars are a great way to increase traffic to your website. So my message really is, when it comes to ways of attracting visitors to your website as potential leads, sales leads, and therefore customers, is be imaginative in finding new ways and test, test, test. Never stop testing. Okay, I want to move on to the second thing that's important. You've got the visitor on your website. That's only half the battle. That's only going halfway. We now need to convert them. So what is conversion? Often you will hear conversion rate. I'm looking to increase my conversion rate. So what is conversion rate? Pure and simply, it's just the percentage of the total visitors to your website who complete a desired action. So what are the desired actions? Here's just some examples. It goes beyond just making a purchase, because you may need to and will go through a number of these actions. So for example, filling in a survey is a desired action that you might want a visitor to take. Booking a demo. Many websites that I see, technology businesses, their website invite the visitor to book a demo. Requesting an audiobook, and many other resources that includes planners, presentation slides, ebooks, guides, and so on. Registering for a webinar, as I referred to earlier. Sharing a comment. definitely signing up for a free trial, and of course making a purchase. And a high conversion rate is indicative of a successful marketing campaign, and with it, of course, a great website design. It means that people want what you are offering, and they're able to get it, and get it easily. Okay, so ways to increase conversion rate. Very quickly, there are 20 ways, and many others that I'm sure you'll be able to identify, where you can get your visitor to take action, whether that's, as I've said earlier, filling out a survey, booking a demo, making a purchase, whatever it is. First is carefully select your headline, the headline for your landing page of your website. Your headline is perhaps the single most important element of the landing page. Brainstorm at least 10 possibilities before choosing the strongest one. And there are many companies that I'm involved with where we've spent time creating those headlines that capture the attention of the visitor to the website. Create a dedicated landing pages for your pay-per-click ads. If you're using Google Ads or another form of PPC ads, be sure to send the visitors to a dedicated landing page, not your homepage, and respond to what they are seeking. So if they're looking to register for a webinar, when they land on that dedicated page, they've got a link to register for the webinar. The third is use action verbs. When testing out different calls to action, use action language that spurs the visitor to actually take action. For example, reserve your place, request your audiobook, make a purchase. Next, use customer testimonials. Testimonials reduce risk and provide social proof. Social proof is a very powerful tool of persuasion. And for those of you who have read the book by Robert Cialdini, who's a professor at the Arizona State University, talks about the 6 principles of persuasion. And social proof is one of them, the other being reciprocity, authority, commitment, and consistency, liking, and scarcity. Read the book and build on how you can actually leverage social proof. Clearly state benefits of your product and service. Listing the features of your product is important, but it's even more important to tell potential customers, the visitors, exactly what your product will help them or solve their problem. Use those 6 magic words. You're asking the questions, what are they? Well, what that means for you is, so to give you an example, envisage a sales assistant in a bicycle store selling a mountain bike. Let's say it's a titanium mountain bike, very light, offering disc brakes, and he describes the product as disc brakes, back and front, wide 29-inch tires, 20 gears, blah, blah. The important point is how you translate that for the customer to enable them to understand and buy. And your response would be, your follow-up would be, what that means for you is comfortable, enjoyable, safe off-road cycling. Next, include a no questions asked refund policy. Promise a guarantee on all purchases. This reduces risk and increases sales, and that increase in sales more than makes up for any returns. Use short videos to engage the visitor. Include those that show they can demonstrate there is a real person behind the brand. There's nothing more annoying for me when I land on a web page and I have nobody and see nobody and can't talk to anybody or connect with anybody through a chat bot or whatever it might be. So include a short video on the landing page that can be watched by the visitor. Incorporate strong calls to action, as I mentioned earlier. Let your visitor know exactly what you want them to do next. And whatever that might be, as already described. Next, provide visitors with everything they need to know. Tell the visitors everything about your product. Most importantly, what does it look like? How does it work? What are the possible uses and how will I benefit by it? Show that you are customer centric is the important message. Finally, get visitors excited. Tell your amazing story. Telling your story is critical. Don't hype. Most consumers are too savvy, too streetwise to fall for hype-based copy, and I read an awful lot of hype-based copying on websites that I visit. Focus instead on writing clear, compelling copy that helps the visitor to the website make a purchase decision. Get your visitor excited. Use emotionally charged language and amazing storytelling, and as a result, get your visitor eager and excited to try your product. And here are a couple of stories that I want to share with you. Examples of companies. The first one is a company started by Natasha Baus. The company is Beautiful Dairy. And there is the story. You can read that in the bottom right hand, but I will just read it because it does bring out the story and how important that story is and how compelling that story is in understanding where Natasha has come from and what she has established, which is a very successful international business selling what are cultured milks in different flavors and different formats. So her story was, or is, after training as an athlete for a Russian figure skating team where kefir was an essential part of my diet and health regime, I went on to study economics and finance at Moscow State University. And I started my financial career in finance in Moscow and subsequently moved my job to Dublin and then on to London. After a long, as she describes it, corporate high-flying career, I finally set about creating my dream of launching a company, my own cultured milk range. And the change in career for her has been exciting, it's been challenging, but also successful. Right, the second story I'd like to share is about a social enterprise called Jengi Makers. Now, Jengi Makers is a social enterprise whose aim is to address the need for sustainable and affordable alternative construction material. And they are active throughout Africa, based in Kenya. Now, their vision is majorly aligned with 4 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. They are decent work, innovation, sustainable communities, and climate action. And they recycle plastic waste to produce building materials such as paving blocks and paving tiles, which you can actually see in the photograph, the middle photograph. They collect the waste plastic, they process it using technology, they mix it with the plastic with sand, and this mixture is then molded into various products, such as the ones that you see in the photograph that I referred to earlier. In terms of social impact, it's substantial. Not only does Jengi measure the plastic, the waste plastic, and the tons of waste plastic that they process, but they also talk about, very importantly, the job opportunities that are created for many different types of workers, from garbage collectors to youth groups. And I would encourage that the viewers of this talk actually watch the video, Plastic Bricks in Kenya. Zambi Mati, who is the founder and very exuberant entrepreneur, the young champion winner, which is the Young Champion of the Earth for Africa 2020, how she speaks very passionately about what she has done in building a social enterprise with a real purpose and an impact on the environment as well as society. So do watch that. Okay, moving on. More ways to increase conversion rate. Here is the list. I'm not going to go through them all, but there are many of these ways in which you can convert visitors when they land on your website. For example, one of the things that I would like to say is try out a single column layout for your website. Use different color combinations to evoke a positive emotion. When you evoke a positive emotion in a visitor, they are more likely to take the action that you want them to take. And always ask for feedback. How did our website serve you? Did you find what you were looking for? Will you come and visit again? And make sure you include contact information. The key here is to a successful converting website, again, as I mentioned earlier, is to test, test, test. Okay, so an example, and I will be finishing with two more examples. The first is an SME which has adapted successfully to the impact of COVID, but not only that, it has actually embraced the opportunities created by COVID, opportunities to grow. And this is a business that I've selected because the founder gives very good advice, very sound advice on how to grow your business during times of uncertainty. So the company is called Street Bees. It's a next generation market research company of some today 180 employees, and lets people record. Its partners, they call them bees, they record by photos, texts, videos, the reasons behind the purchase decisions that they make. And these are captured and provide insights for consumer products companies. Now, it was founded by Tugsi Bullitt, who last year was included in the top 50 Europe's most influential women in the startup space. And Street Bees has grown a community of some 3.4 million users, or bees as they call them, across about 100 countries, which includes Namibia and South Africa. They collect, as I mentioned, photos, text, videos of consumer purchasing behavior using a mobile app, which the bees download and capture that important information, that behavior. That is then analyzed, that data is analyzed using deep neural network machine learning to provide reports to big consumer product corporates like L'Oreal, like PepsiCo, like Unilever, amongst others. And do notice that in the menu, the gallery at the top there, it says book demo. That's a call to action. And that's a call to action to help engage the visitor to the website. Now, the response to COVID was a combination of 5 things: moving quickly to home online working, hosting webinars and insights, supporting their 3 million plus bees to share information about purchase behavior, creating new products, including products specifically in response to COVID. This is the product they created is the COVID-19 Human Impact Tracker. It's a tracking report that is helping SMEs stay close to their consumers and address their fast changing needs. And finally, leveraging their website to the fullest extent along the lines that I discussed earlier. And Tugsi was interviewed by the EU Startups organization when she was asked the very pertinent question, what advice would you give to SMEs? And that advice is threefold. And by advice, I mean advice on how to stay afloat and grow your business during COVID, and particularly during uncertain times. 1, Stay close to your customer. All the things that I discussed and spoke to earlier, including communicating frequently with the customer. Be prepared to change your business model. Sell online in all the ways and strategies that I talked about earlier. And finally, keep your eye on the opportunities and what could happen. Not just what is happening, but what could happen. Look out for the changes that can be exploited. Recognize the problems that emerge that can be resolved with a product or a service or both, and find gaps which you can actually fill. So visit the website, find out more. And the final, my penultimate slide, is a social media company called Stand for Socks. And this is an example of a company, a social enterprise that's not only adapted to COVID, but is serving or embracing the opportunities created by COVID. Now, Stand for Socks is very much in that position where they are changing the world. For every pair of socks that you buy, another of its specially made antibacterial socks is given to a person who is homeless. What a great proposition. And their response to COVID specifically has been that for every purchase of a pair of socks, it donates a pair of socks to healthcare workers on the front line of the fight against COVID. And note on this landing page, the call to action button, the create your pack and save. What a great company and what they're doing to help the world. Thank you for listening. I'm Jurek Sikorski. There are my contact details. Do get in touch if you've got a question or if you want to connect on LinkedIn.